fellas, specifically black men, are y'all really pressed and upset that Auntie Loni is dating a white man? Cause y'all was just banging down her door, right? Y'all just was like, Loni, date me. I'm black, I'm successful, I can take care of you, I can give you the love that you need. That's what happened? Cause now y'all mad? How y'all mad? What's going on, you guys? It's your girl Just Koi here, and welcome back to the corner. How you doing, you crazy? Get it, good to see ya, so good to see ya. I hope you guys are doing well. I know I feel like I am doing well today. I hope wherever you are, you're blessed, you're in a good mood, you had some breakfast, maybe a little bit of lunch, possibly some din-din, maybe even some supper, you know what I mean? And you're feeling good, you're feeling great, and you've decided to join the corner, and we welcome you. We thank you, especially this is your first time here. I mean, you know, how could I not say thank you for joining us? You could be anywhere else. You could be sitting on anybody else's corner, but you're here. What's up? Today I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about something that I recently saw on, I think I saw it on Twitter actually, about the internet apparently giving Loni Love, one of the hosts on The Real, some backlash because she introduced to the world that she's dating this guy. His name is James Welsh, I believe, James Welsh, Uncle James. She's dating Uncle James, and he just so happens to be a white man. I wanted to discuss this with you guys today and get your thoughts on it, but before we jump into this, if this is your first time here, then this is going to be your first time hearing me say this, but you need to subscribe. You need to subscribe. It's not, I know I know I'm not going easy on you because it's your first time and everything, but you feel me, just do it. I promise it's gonna be worth it. Just subscribe. I'm gonna leave some videos down below so you can get a feel for what goes on here on the corner. You feel what I'm saying? So you could you know, you make that decision for yourself. I ain't forcing you, but you should definitely subscribe. We're lit. We're like the official littest corner on the block. There are over 100 people standing on a corner laughing, parlaying, and politicking. You know it's lit. You know you want to be a part of it. Click the button. While you doing that, fam, why don't you also do this? See what this look like? Like this video, share this video, and put your bell on. Just to hit the buttons that's all underneath this screen right here. I'm gonna give you a second. Moving on. From what I gather from the research that I did, it seems like Loni and James have been dating for over a year now. It looks like they started dating back in August of 2018, but everything was kept on the hush-hush. Eventually, I believe it was after the Christmas holiday season of 2018, Loni did officially announce that her and James were exclusive and in a relationship, to which everyone else was extremely happy, except for black men, which we're now finding out. I didn't understand why there was so much outrage when Loni has only ever dated black men, and this is her first ever white boyfriend. She said it herself. So when I was doing some research and I was looking at some of the other videos, when they've had other people on the show that talked about relationships and stuff like that, and Loni has had to address briefly the haters that said things about her and James's relationship. There was an episode where she said, I believe this is where Yvette Nicole Brown was on this episode. Y'all might recognize her as the principal from Drake and Josh. Helen, I think Helen was her name. Hilarious. She was on The Real one time, and Loni said, dating a white man for her is not about anything else. It's about compatibility. It's not about blackness. It's about how compatible she is with this person, and that any other day of the week, she will be glad to take her wig off and march with her people as anybody else would, who is also in her position of realizing that just because I am pro-black, it does not mean that I am anti-white, okay? It does not also mean that because someone that is black chooses to date outside of the African-American diaspora, that they are less black because of who they choose to date. I just want to address this for a quick little moment before we go any further into the video, because that is something that I definitely have heard in kind of these neo-hotep groups of people that assume that because you date outside of your race, or you date outside of your ethnic background, that you are anti your background, or you are less a part of your own culture. Something that we've seen on both sides of the spectrum. I feel like, unfortunately, in my personal opinion, Loni Love is now getting the public backlash that a lot of black men in the industry that she's in has gotten for dating outside of the race as well, from black women that have been outraged or upset that there are black men that are still continuously dating outside of black women, when there are so many of us that are single and, you know, available and prosperous and bosses and go-getters and ambitious, and just, if not you know, any competition to pit women against each other, but we are just as attractive, if not more in some ways, than every other woman on this planet. And as the originator of human life as an African woman or a black woman or an African descendant woman, we take a little bit more feeling when we don't see that there is a black man dating a black woman. So I got it as a black woman on that spectrum when I would see like different stars. I want to say, I think Tay Diggs and like countless others. Like, they're coming to my mind, but they're flying away. Different black men in Hollywood that have been grilled and, you know, basically just crucified by black women for dating outside of their race. So Loni is now receiving that backlash from black men. However, my personal feelings when it comes down to this, because essentially Loni made a comment on Twitter, because I guess, you know, after some time you just get sick of dealing with the haters and you get sick of people talking smack and, you know, not really knowing what they're talking about or talking out the crack of their behind because they feel like they have a right to express their opinions and that their opinions are superior to yours over your own life and your decisions. But essentially she said this on Twitter. She said,
"Amazed at times at the folks concerned that I am dating a white male, but for years, black males have dated white and exotic women and no one questions it. Hashtag love while you can."
I personally agree with this. I do think that it is very hypocritical and very pot calling the kettle for black men to be expressing such an upstanding outroar towards this black woman, you know, being in an interracial relationship. I think that it's so funny how, you know, black women are expected to deal with a black man in any way, shape, or form of condition that he comes in. Yet when we choose to no longer tolerate, excuse my French, being completely honest, the bullshit, we choose to no longer deal with the bullshit, and we just so happen to meet someone and date someone that is not with the nonsense, and they give us what we need and they fulfill us and they satisfy us, and they just so happen to not be black. It is now presumed that this person is basically, this woman is abandoning her entire race because for so long she's been disappointed by black men and just wanted to give it a shot at someone else, and she never lost hope in the fact that a black man would be able to love her one day. It just so happened that somebody that wasn't black came along and did it first. So I feel like there's a lot of black women that go through that period of time, but there's also the other edge of this, and this is why this is like one of those topics that I don't really like to talk about, because it's that area where there are black people that exist on both sides of the spectrum. You have black women and black men that are fully conscious and aware and supportive and culturally sound in who they are and where they come from and their background and all that other good stuff. And then you also have black people that have been whitewashed, that have been brainwashed, that have this perception in their minds that white is right and that the closer to whiteness that they can get, the better it is for them. You have people that have been greatly on many scales Eurocentrized, if that's even a word, to where whiteness and being white is the epitome of everything, beauty, success, and this is what they've been generationally taught, you understand? So there are people that have been taught that way, that it's better to be with the white man, even down to where it being regionally, like certain regions of the country, certain regions of the world believe that being with a white man will give you better. The kind of philosophy when it comes down to finding a loving relationship is very tumultuous, because there are people that are getting into it for very insecure reasons, and they're not owning up to the fact that their self-hatred is what is causing them to run away from this, because it's not that they don't believe that they can be good on their own, but it's just like they don't think that they're where they come from is good stock. They've been raised to believe that they're not as good of a stock as they could be. They need better stock just to be good. The backlash that a lot of Black people have gotten on both sides of the spectrum is that, from like as an outsider looking in, for those that date interracially, it's more of wanting the acceptance to be able to love whoever they want and to be happy outside of the perimeters and boundaries of what is seen as a traditional relationship, and realizing that we don't live in the 50s anymore. We're not in a period of time where we cannot cross color lines. Love crosses color lines all the time. So it has nothing to do with the fact that you can only find, you know, love within your nationality, your ethnicity, however the case may be. Now, to get into my personal feelings about the situation, to not be so level-headed about it, I love Black love, all right? I stand for Black love 110% of the time. However, 1,000% of the time, I stand for love in healthy relationships, period. You could be purple and yellow, big and small, far and close. I don't care what your variations of uniqueness of characteristics and cultures and however you want to get your blended pot together, girl, get it done. All right? Boy, get it done. I do not care about how you choose to find love. I just care about the fact that I believe everybody deserves to experience being in love and having pure love and having someone that purely loves them, no boundaries and unconditional. And if you have to, or if it just so happens to find you and that person does not share your ethnicity, does not share your national background, then I would take it as the best and biggest learning experience of your life to literally walk next to, in line with someone that had a completely different path than you did growing up in life, and their entire experience is different than yours, because there's nothing that you can relate to that a lot of people who are in relationships do, which is culturally. Like, just the fact that we belong to the same group brings us together. But there are so many, I think that one of the things that I realized being in the Virgin Islands taught me, we're much more alike than we are different, which is why I don't understand why there's still so much of an upset and an uproar about interracial relationships. And I also still, as a Black person that's aware of racism and understands why racism exists and the institutionalization of it and what its purpose is for, I also don't get why people are taking it so personal when it comes down to interracial relationships now in 2019, considering the fact that racial relations have gotten tremendously better over the past 5 decades. It has gotten completely better than it used to be. However, I do not agree with her when it comes down to her saying that she feels as though Black women receive more of a backlash when it comes down to dating white men than Black men dating white women. I feel as though a lot more the scales are tipped the other way. Black women, we can be ferocious when we want to, and I say that in the best way possible. We are some of the fiercest, baddest creatures that have ever walked the face of this earth, and when somebody crosses us, we let them know that they done crossed us. So I completely understand with them feeling as if they've been, you know, I get it, but it doesn't make, it doesn't make one sin better. Like, it doesn't make it any better. We shouldn't be crucifying each other, period, about who we choose to love. I think that at the same time that you give people the room to love who they want to, you don't have the right to put down anybody that is in your race, that is of your ethnic background, because you choose to date outside of it. Like the Black men that will sit there and complain about Black women ain't this, Black women ain't that, and specifically and exclusively only date outside of their race, have no room to talk when it comes down to interracial relationships, because you're already biased. For those Black men that call Black women bitches and hoes and tar babies and all kind of other stuff, you have no right to have a conversation about interracial relationships because of the fact that you're biased. You hate yourself. And this is where it gets touchy. Black men get touchy when you say stuff like this, but we say this and we're wrong, but we're really not. It's a form of self-hatred when you have to put down people of the same way that you look. We look just like you. You came from a Black woman, yet and still you put a Black woman down to lift up a woman that could never, ever relate to you the same way that a Black woman could. We live the same experience, kind of parallel to each other, and you have to teach her your experience. And you put us down, and we always have your back, and y'all always come running to us. That's where the upset comes. I think a lot of Black women is that low-key, high-key bitterment and resentment a little bit that, you know, at the end of the day, black men will always come home. They will always look to the black community for help and support, because there's always going to be black people in the community that will always support black people. So it doesn't matter necessarily what you've done. We do know how to forgive and move on. Not forgive and forget, but forgive and move on. That's what we choose to do, and we just let the discretions of the past go, because we hope and pray that you've learned and you've grown from that point. And you don't believe those things anymore. At least if you do, you're more respectful about how you choose to express them. So I don't agree with Loni Love on the front of, you know, black women receiving more backlash than that. However, I also cannot speak to this because I've never been in an interracial public relationship. I actually don't think I've ever been in an interracial relationship. Nope. With someone that is white, like maybe with someone that's also another minority, like a Puerto Rican or Dominican or whatever, but nobody that's ever been, you know, white. So because of that, I can't speak from that aspect of, well, black women don't receive that much backlash, because I'm pretty sure if I had as much of a following or a platform as Loni Love and I was dating a white dude and I posted it on my social media pages, I would be getting backlash as well. But I do want to say for the record that just because you date outside of your race, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you hate your race or that you hate yourself. You can love yourself, your people, where you come from, and have, you know, and my language, sorry y'all, be perfectly okay with dating someone else. You don't have to be disrespectful about it. I think that the backlash that Loni Love is receiving is really dumb and it's stupid, and I really want black men to get a grip. I get everyone has a right to their opinion, and because she is a public figure, you know, you feel as though you have a right to comment on what she does publicly. But I just personally believe that in this way, and in this issue in particular, if she's happy and healthy and he makes her happy, we should be happy that a black woman has found happiness, and leave it at that. That's really all my thoughts on this whole situation. I'm so sorry if it was like wordy or a little bit all over the place or possibly a little bit long-winded, but when it comes down to situations and issues about like black culture and blackness and defying blackness, I have a lot of perplexing eyebrow-raising moments, because I find it so funny that black people are really unwilling to be forgiving to each other if we feel as though we've offended each other, yet and still when other people outside of us offend us, we're quick to be on this whole kumbaya trip, but we want to hold grudges with each other, and at the end of the day, we're all each other has. So black men and black women, if we can find love amongst each other, that's amazing, but if we don't, if in that moment love does not come to us in the form that it looks like us, we should still be accepting of anyone else that finds love in that way, and be happy that love exists in a pure form that is unconditional and it transgresses all lines and goes against everything that you could possibly think is going to keep it from blossoming. Something as simple as color differences can build a beautiful relationship and a beautiful legacy. And I don't think that as a fellow black person we have any right to ridicule anyone, period, on what they choose to do in their love lives. Being dead ass and completely honest, we got enough shit to worry about than what's going on in somebody's bedroom. Just saying. Let me know what you think of this video below. Drop down in the good old comments and get them keys a-going, kids. Do you believe in support interracial relationships? Do you not support interracial relationships? As I said, I'm for black love 100% of the time, but 1000% of the time, I'm for love always. So let me know. I'm curious. I'm excited to see where this discussion could possibly go, especially about black men and black women and interracial relationships. There is a conversation that's going to go on. I ask for all kids to be respectful. We do not have to like what everybody says. We do not have to agree with what everybody says, but we do have to respect with what each other says. So let's treat each other with some respect in the comments if it gets touchy, because I know this can be a possibly sensitive topic. I wish Loni Love and James Welch nothing but the best and love in this relationship, and I pray that we really do move forward from this kind of barbaric, predated, like really old mindset when it comes down to interracial relationships. I think it's time that we update a couple things when it comes down to the black code. Thank you so much for joining me on the corner today, kids. You're dismissed. There was a little bit of schooling session today. I'm sorry, but you know we gotta switch it up on the corner. You can't be goofing all the time. Can't be goofing all the time. There's other stuff going on in here. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming back. And I can't wait to see you again, kids. Until we convene. Deuces.